Have you ever imagined what life would be like if you couldn't read and write? The Dutch reading level is internationally above average, but the number of pupils who cannot read well at the end of grade 6 has risen in recent years. For example, in 2019, 22% did not reach the target level of reading. These numbers made us think, how could reading instruction be improved to reduce the number of pupils that fail to achieve the required reading level? My name is Sanne Liemenaert. I'm from the Radboud University of Nijmegen, and I'm glad to present our paper, Analyzing Read Aloud Speech by Primary School Pupils, Insights for Research and Development. I wrote this paper in collaboration with Katja Gutierrini, Roland van Hout, and Helmer Strik from the Radboud University of Nijmegen. Below you can see the overview of our presentation, background, aims of this study, methods, results, discussion and conclusions, and future research and development. Worldwide, 86% of the adult population is literate. 1 in 5 Europeans has difficulty with reading, writing, and digital skills. And in the Netherlands, 11.9% of the adults have difficulties with reading and writing. How could reading instruction be improved to reduce the number of pupils that fail to achieve the required reading level? Teachers cannot always provide individual reading practice, so digital literacy software has been proposed as a possible supplement. But there are few software applications that provide reading aloud practice. Such practice could be provided by software that employs automatic speech recognition technology. Software based on automatic speech recognition can listen to pupils while they practice reading aloud and can also give feedback. Research is being conducted to make this possible for Dutch, but we need more knowledge about reading strategies and reading miscues in Dutch. To acquire such knowledge, we analyzed read aloud speech from Dutch primary school pupils. An advantage of analyses of read aloud speech, for example, to be obtained from corpora, is that pupils have to read texts similar to those encountered in everyday reading instruction. This could say something about the types of reading strategies and miscues and the nature of reading problems. This study aimed to investigate which reading strategies Dutch primary school pupils use while reading aloud and which reading miscues they make in doing so. Furthermore, we propose a novel reading miscue index, and we wanted to study whether this novel reading miscue index, reading strategies, and reading miscues are related to reading level and gender, and also which words are misread, omitted, and inserted. We used corpus speech material from Dutch native primary school pupils who read text aloud at their mastery reading level. And we used speech recordings from 71 primary school pupils, ranging from 6 to 13 years, from 2nd grade to 6th grade. And their mastery reading levels varied between level 1 and 9. And Dutch has a relatively transparent orthography, and reading education is organized in such a way that pupils read books at their own reading level. And at their mastery level, pupils read aloud at a good pace, almost without reading miscues. The annotations of the reading strategies and reading miscues were made manually in the computer program Praat. Therefore, we used an annotation protocol based on an existing protocol. We checked per reading attempt if the read aloud speech corresponded to the text, and we annotated the type of reading strategy. We introduced a novel reading miscue index to get a realistic indication of reading difficulty. And the index is calculated by dividing the total number of miscues, so the total reading attempts minus the number of correct reading attempts, by the total number of words in the text. If we only counted the final realization, there might remain a very small number of miscues, whereas the text was read with many hesitations and recoveries for the various words. If we look at the results, we observe a significant effect of reading level on reading miscue index. A post hoc Tukey test showed that the reading miscue index at reading level 8 was significantly lower than at reading levels 1 to 5, and also significantly lower than at reading level 7. There was no significant main effect of gender, neither a significant interaction effect of reading level and gender. In total, we annotated 13,211 reading attempts, of which 94% were read correctly. We can see the frequency of occurrence of the other reading strategies in this figure. Reading attempt contained entire target word and was read incorrectly. It contained only a part of the target word and was read correctly. It contained only a part of the target word and was read incorrectly. It contained a prolongation of one or more sounds of the target word. The word was spelled, omitted, or it switched place within the sentence. The words that in proportion were misread most frequently were generally low-frequency words with at least 2 syllables. For example, the word nomads was misread in 68% of the cases, the word spans in 50% of the cases, and grandfathers in 38% of the cases. The proportionally most frequently omitted words were high-frequent, unstressed function words, and the words were she, a or an, the, and ends. Of all these omitted words, 97.2% were one-syllable words. We found that miscues on the word level were more frequent than miscues on the sound or syllable level. The most frequently inserted words were one-syllable function words, the, a or an, there, and ends. We found a significant effect of reading level on our reading miscue index, but did not find the degrees of reading miscue index as reading level increased. And this was expected since the reading levels of the text were adjusted to the mastery reading level of the pupils. The frequency of reading strategies showed that 94% of the reading attempts were read correctly. And an explanation can be that pupils who learn to read a relatively transparent orthography like Dutch make few reading miscues after the earliest phase of reading education, and instead they show progress in reading speed. In our study, second most frequent were reading attempts that contained the entire target word and were read incorrectly. This suggests that pupils mostly use lexical reading strategies instead of sublexical reading strategies. A possible explanation for this result is that words in context can be read almost successfully on the basis of only a partial visual analysis. In addition, it is assumed that lexical strategies are used for familiar words and sublexical strategies for unknown or low-frequency words. Texts on a mastery level may contain mostly familiar words. Target words that were proportionally misread most frequently were generally low-frequency words with at least 2 syllables. This is in line with the results of Verhoeven and Van Leeuwen, who found that pupils are least efficient in decoding words with more than 1 syllable. And it's assumed that sublexical strategies are used for unknown or low-frequency words, which may explain why the words were not read correctly immediately. Target words that were proportionally omitted most often were high-frequent, one-syllable function words, and this was expected since Goodman found that when pupils develop reading proficiency, they tend to omit known words which are not significant to the meaning of the sentence or text. The frequency of reading miscues showed that miscues on the word level were more frequent than miscues on the sound or syllable level, which also suggests that pupils mostly use lexical reading strategies instead of sublexical reading strategies. Most frequently inserted words were high-frequent one-syllable function words, and this suggests that pupils tend to insert mostly words that have no major influence on the meaning of the text. The results of our study provide insights for future research and development, and knowledge of common miscues can be useful for reading education and for developing reading interventions and reading software based on automatic speech recognition. We have seen that common miscues were mostly related to low-frequency words, which suggests that these words should be made more relevant within reading education. Pupils need a large vocabulary to quickly assess word meanings, and they have to improve their vocabulary at the beginning of reading education, since this is related to their subsequent word decoding skills. For reading software, common reading miscues can be implemented so that the software can predict, detect, and repair reading miscues. To help prevent omissions and insertions, reading software could be developed to visualize the original text and the read aloud speech at the same time to create awareness. A more sensitive word reading efficiency measure could be adopted, which takes both accuracy and reading speed into account, and this would allow to investigate possible differences in the speed-accuracy trade-off. Time pressure could be used to induce more reading miscues. And furthermore, analyses of individual readers could offer insights into differences between individual readers, in addition to differences between reader groups. Investigating reading miscues of individual pupils could help improve reading education and the development of reading software based on automatic speech recognition, and it can also contribute to realizing the kind of personalized instruction advocated by so many education researchers. Thank you for listening.